and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Edmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin McClue, Unleashed.
And...
Whoa, Colin Cunningham.
Also Unleashed.
If I was following the structure of this movie, I should have said Colin Cunningham, Unleashed.
Exactly, because... John Kincaid, not the main character of this movie, not the guy on the poster.
Not on the poster.
Very confusing.
Yeah, so I thought it was like, Jean-Claude Van Damme is the fighter or something like that.
John Kincaid is Unleashed.
It's apparently a character in the movie.
And he's quite a character, indeed.
Okay, Justin, how did you find out about this movie? Which is
someone writing about it on Letterboxd, I'm sure. Okay. And I was like, what is this?
Yet another
and then I looked into it.
Martial arts vanity picture.
Yeah.
Oh, they just litter Tubi. And if I had to describe this one as, something that people who are fans of this podcast may recognize, it's like the rural fight of fury.
Yeah.
It's like it takes place in the woods the entire time.
Oh, yeah. Lots of
camping
river
fight of fury.
Lots of river
There's
shots.
two locations. It's like this river thing and California desert.
And like a kind of lake with a swamp beach.
That's the first location. But when you sent us this movie and I just scanned through it because I could not find a trailer, I was like, oh wow, like another like undiscovered gem of a martial arts vanity picture. And then I kind of realized, oh, there's probably like a bajillion of these.
Oh yeah.
Well, it takes like a very specific kind of like flavor and talent to make some of these, right? Where if you click on someone's name and their IMDb profile looks like it was written by them, and according to the IMDb profile, they've won hundreds of awards, then you are in the right territory.
Yeah, kind of like nebulous awards you've never heard of.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Really?
While this movie is quite funny, it's not as good as Fight of Fury.
No,
it's not as good as like
nothing is
Razor.
as good as Fight of Fury.
Razor Sharp was a lot better.
Well,
than
I would
this
say
too.
that it's a different flavor of Razor Sharp.
Yeah, it's different.
But I would say that Razor Sharp is way more competent. Like this is
absolutely.
This is like, you can't all have Razor Sharps and Fight of Furies. So this is, once in a while you're gonna pull a rotten pickled egg.
This is a couple steps down from that.
No, you know what? I want to convince you by the end of this that this has value for many reasons.
For sure, absolutely. But it's not what I thought it was going to be. Let's just
what
say
did you think it was going to be?
Well, I thought it was going to be just a kind of standard martial arts flick.
Oh no, this is like a transmission from a mind that perceives the world in an interesting way.
Yeah.
So kind of like The Room, like
kind of.
What was he thinking when he wrote this? It's very confusing.
Kind of like a
the
Neil
dialogue
Breen.
the dialogue and the structure is insane.
Yeah, I would say out of all of the martial arts vanity projects, this is probably the closest to Neil Breenish as we've gotten.
Yeah.
I can
in the
see
sense that like J.J. Stomp, the star, writer, director, choreographer, producer, caterer of this movie, lots of cupcakes on that budget too.
Oh yeah.
I think that this probably makes sense to him.
I think
to us mere mortals, for an hour, I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. Is this a flashback? What is happening?
Incomprehensible at times. And, I watched it today, and the only thing that kind of saved it for me was the closed captioning.
Yeah, should have had that on the first
very, very difficult to hear or understand what anybody is saying. The audio mix is very bad. Everyone is dubbed or appears to be dubbed in this movie.
It's one of those.
Yeah, you get that kind of shouldn't be, level.
I thought the audio was crisp because everybody was always screaming and most of the lines were said off screen. So I wrote a lot of them as I was going through this.
Yeah, there were lots of, John Kincaid himself, I think you rarely see him speaking in the movie, but you hear a lot of his dialogue.
With sync sound.
Yeah, it's coming from all over the place. From
so John
off-screen.
Kincaid is not credited on IMDb, so I assume he is just John Kincaid in real life.
Yeah.
That he is a force of nature and that he is just, something they captured, like a bear or a Bigfoot crossing screen in this movie.
I have a feeling it's like he just floated down a river and kind of washed up on the shore by J.J. Stomp's house.
Kind of looks like, I don't know, John DiMaggio or
He is some John DiMaggio.
He's like a bigger, like red-haired guy that doesn't really look like anyone else in the movie.
Always screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always on screen screaming, but it takes a little while to get to him, so we should start the movie
Well, first
the
of
way
all,
all great movies start.
Who is J.J. Stomp?
J.J. Stomp?
Is that
Do we-
his?
do we
Is
know?
that his
Have you
given
read
name?
his IMDb biography?
No, I
It
I
is
scanned
a
over it.
journey and a half because I mean, it says that he won a bunch of awards, and it says that he has written 2 books, Elephant Stomp and Asian Assassin, which are available on Amazon.
Self-published.
And there's a part where out of nowhere, it's like, oh, also, he was able to dedicate his novel, Elephant Stomp, to his wife, Jenny B. Cianosa, who passed away in a house fire on July 28th, 2012.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And it's like, oh, my God. And then it follows it up with J.J. Stomp as coming back strong after that. In 2014, he won the Jury Award, the Best Martial Arts Feature Film of the Year, an Oscar Award, and Best Love Story Feature Film. It is not credited to any film festival where he would have won these for.
Yeah, and
all
he's
for Johnny Kincaid Unleashed, I might add.
Oh my God.
Wow, because he has, I think, about 17 films in production right now.
Oh my God.
And they all have like an image that he, assuming, has uploaded to IMDb. Okay. One is called Pooh Comes to America, P-O-O. It's about a guy named Pooh. And there's 2 Pooh movies, actually.
Oh my God.
There was another one before that, and all in production,
Is this like his take on like Paddington?
I guess.
The last time I looked at his credits, all that was up there was Johnny Kincaid. And since then, there's 2 feature films that came out in 2022, The Boss Man and In 3 Dragon, which are available on Tubi. So these movies are getting made.
Okay, now a connection to Fight of Fury. The Boss Man stars 2 actors that were in both Fight of Fury and Matchstick Flame.
Wow. Whoa.
Are they
So it's like
those
the
guys?
Avengers universe.
Are they those?
It's that Chuck Liddell guy.
Yeah.
That was in Fight of Fury, and then that kind of one, the guy that looked like Johnny Ramone, one of the Ramones.
Yeah. Wow,
the
they're
black-haired
in this
guy.
movie?
They're not in this movie.
No.
They're in his other movie.
But The Boss Man.
So they almost, I guess they're all in L.A. or California.
What is this like California society of vain,
Martial artists
vain
Well,
guys?
people go to LA because they want to make movies, I feel. Like,
Yeah.
unless you're born there and you're raised there, you usually go there because that is like the goal that you have in mind.
Yeah, and it's probably they all know each other from the martial arts
Tournaments.
scene. Yeah, tournaments, schools, that sort of thing. So they kind of share
Yeah, and
actors.
it's LA. They got the acting bug. They want to be a star. They
Yeah.
can't make it, so they just make their own movies.
And this seems like the same thing because you see the credits at the beginning and everything is like Master, Sifu,
Yeah.
Grandmaster, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Well, let's start with the credits, though, because the first title card is Universal Talent Bookings Management.
Sign
That
of
is the
quality.
First card you see. And then a credit that seems to just say Hollywood. And I was like, huh? And then I think it appears again, and I noticed that above it, it looks like it says Sow Hollywood, but the Sow is written in like heavy metal font.
Okay.
Like,
What the
that's
fuck?
so hard to read. And there's also a title card that says an Orson film.
Yeah.
And I went, huh, okay, Orson Welles? Like,
Oh, I thought it was Olsen, like the Olsen twins.
maybe it's Olson.
The Olsen twins, maybe.
Yeah,
for,
maybe they got into producing. you
Yeah,
know?
producing this movie.
And then the actual credits are the tiniest I have ever seen in a movie.
yeah, that was an odd choice. Could barely read them. You had to get up and squint.
Like they're in the middle of the
I mean,
screen.
usually they're huge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like 10-point font.
Yeah, and he's a really, really small man.
Do you think that's why?
Well, I think he was
Little
probably
credits?
he was probably like propped up on a couple of Apple boxes when he was doing the fonts or something, and he was closer to the screen. Maybe he thought they were bigger.
And in this opening credits, we get, I think, the major thematic element of this movie, stock footage.
Yeah.
I hope you love stock footage.
As someone who has to use stock footage often in my daily life for work, nice to see it represented in a movie.
Lots of nature footage. At one point, there's like a mama bear with like a bunch of cubs,
And you
following
totally
her.
can't tell it's not from the same scene. I mean,
I will.
right?
I will say it's not as egregious as I've seen before, where something is like shot on DV, and then they have all this beautiful beautiful HD stock footage.
Yeah.
This kind of blended, but it's very clear that
It looks like they threw a filter over the entire movie, like a brown filter the entire time.
Well, it is in California, you know.
And
That's,
you
that's how
have-
you know.
A woman singing over this opening, and like you're gonna get a lot of this throughout the movie.
Cheesy stock footage with like lyrics that are so on the nose.
Stock music, which is definitely a negative in this
stock
movie.
music, sorry.
Another thing I have to deal with a lot at work, and it sucks. They're really cheesy, and the songs are exactly like the lyrics are like supposed to be exactly what is happening.
Wait, do you use stuff with like lyrics when you edit stuff for your job?
Not usually, yeah. But the stock sites have stuff with lyrics, so you have to like turn that off when you're searching.
Now, I don't want to make fun of J.J. Stomp, but doesn't it look like in these opening scenes and throughout the film that he's wearing a suit that's like 2 times too big for him?
And he wears so many suits in this movie.
He should really get those pants altered.
Yeah, it's just so ill-fitting, and he wears so many of them. He's constantly dressed up. But he himself...
I mean, maybe it's his style, and I just don't get it. I don't want to, offend him, but every time he showed up in sunglasses, and we should paint a picture of what J.J. Stomps look like.
I'm trying to describe him.
He kind of looks like Tommy Wiseau with those sunglasses on.
He does.
Yeah, he has that kind of like long, fake dyed black, like
and he's
stringy
clearly
hair.
balding too.
He has like a kind of
what? He's balding? No,
I don't know. Yeah, at one point he has his big kind of like center part of his hair kind of falls over his face. He looks like one of the Misfits or something. Like,
he looks like Danzig, who's like balding, but he grew his hair really long,
like
so it goes
Jerry
down.
Only or like Doyle von Frankenstein. But he looks like a combination of a bunch of people. Like I'd say he's got a
like they put like in the Vanity movie like
blender
machine from The Fly, and they come out as
the
like
Brundle Fly.
You got Shuni.
A Brundle Wiseau.
He's kind of like he's got like the height of Shuni B.
He also kind of has the voice of Shuni B. Come on, you guys.
You dubbed, you mean?
Yeah. Maybe that's not even his real voice. Maybe he got Shuni in to do it.
He kind of has like a Leo Fong thing, that kind of like balding
young
kind
Leo
of comb
Fong,
over.
Yeah.
Young Leo Fong, who knows? Was he
Leo
ever
Fong
young?
ever young? I mean, rest in peace. I know that he passed away, but he always like looked old.
Yeah,
he's kind of got a not a bolo, maybe a Bolo Youngish sort of thing, and then the star of like New York Ninja. He's got his face.
John Liu.
John
Liu has that balding look as well.
Yeah,
so.
it's like a whole.
I think the thing is that when you become a master of the martial arts, your hair falls out like One Punch Man.
Yeah, it's just too much.
And then you have to but then you have to star in these movies where very young women are fawning over you.
Well, so the opening scene of this is a woman in a leopard print bikini swimming in like the dirtiest water you can imagine.
Yeah, this is the swamp thing. She's like entering this lake via a swamp. And it has like this muddy beach that's covered in twigs and reeds.
Yeah, so when you go camping, there's a reason why they have designated beaches. You're not just supposed to walk into the lake anywhere because, it's just muddy and the ground would be so squishy and there'd be seaweed everywhere. And she's like, and
it keeps intercutting with J.J. Stomp driving, getting to the campsite.
Yeah, he's dressed in a suit.
It seems like he's going to attack her. The music is like
it's a hit.
Yeah, the music changes, and I think we were asking one another, like, is this an assassination? Like, is he going to kill her?
But it's a suicide attempt because a woman just swimming regularly for about 5 minutes, and then suddenly she's like, "Help! I can't swim."
It's not actually a suicide attempt.
No, but we could not figure out what was happening and why she was drowning.
Yeah.
No, it's never. I watched it over twice to be like, did I miss something? Is she like, oh, I got caught in something? No, she just suddenly starts screaming and flailing.
Yeah.
That she can't swim.
Luckily, J.J. Stomp is there to
save her and also kind of choke her as he's saving her.
Yeah,
which is funny.
He runs into the water.
Oh, he grabs her by the neck to drag her to the shore.
Yeah, you're not really supposed to do that.
This lady might be my favorite character. I'm going to call her Cake Girl because she has a very funny scene later where she eats cake. I don't even know if it's a cupcake. It's like
it's regular cake.
It looks like regular cake.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call her Cake Girl because she's trying her best, but these lines are just the worst.
Well, she's one of those people who clearly responded to an ad of like, oh, we need actors. And it's like, okay, I'll be in a movie. And she's acting beside J.J. Stomp as he's kind of like yelling at her. Like he saves her and then he's like, go home.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
give him a kiss.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Just the two of them together made it feel really creepy. He looks so old.
It's funny
and
though.
haggard, and she looks so young. She looks like she's 19 or something.
Is it so bad that I'm just desensitized to it at this point?
Yeah. Oh, she hugs him like way too long, and then she kisses him at the end.
And he's like touching her legs too, like
yeah.
just,
She
like,
says
massaging her.
She says, "Oh, my leg," and he's feeling her leg. So I don't
He
know.
like, touches her stomach, like getting close to the boob area.
Is it implied that she had like a leg cramp or something? Maybe like she.
Well, if that's the case, then it wasn't much like everything in this movie. It wasn't properly telegraphed.
He's kind of massaging her leg, but then the camera has her like crotch centered on screen,
God.
so close up to the point where you can't even see what he's doing. And then she's like, "How does it look?" And he goes, "You'll survive."
How does
Go
it
home.
look? Yeah. And then, of course, she falls in love with him.
And
She's like, "Will I see you
She
again?"
kisses him immediately because he
look-
saved her life.
You look at his long,
Flowing locks.
voluminous lion's mane of hair.
Yeah.
How could you not? And she's walking away, and she turns back, and she says, "Will I see you again?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it just fades out.
It's very
To
romantic.
what we love in this movie and makes up about half of it, stock footage. In this
Yeah.
case, of a bald eagle flying in slow
it's an
motion.
eagle.
It's always a fade out too, a very slow fade out.
Yeah, and okay, this is clearly where he lives in real life. It
That, like,
looks like
ranch
it's
type
high
thing?
in the Californian mountains. It looks like if you dropped a match,
Everything would just burst
would
into flames.
immediately burst into flames, and you would kill like 3,000 people.
I love the old Wilford Brimley guy playing his dad, who was introduced just chomping down on a banana.
Oh yeah, right in camera.
Didn't we also say he had a George Kennedy vibe? Is that what it
Yeah,
was
he
said?
does.
Yeah,
A
he's
little
like kind
bit.
of like an Asian George Kennedy.
Yeah, he's funny. I'm guessing he's his actual relative, uncle, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
maybe.
No, there's no way he's old enough to be his dad, like he is in the movie.
Yeah, he's playing his dad, but he doesn't look a whole lot older than J.J.
No.
Stomp.
No.
So I didn't understand this until I watched it again with closed captioning. This is a home for orphans.
Yes.
Oh.
I was unclear about that until I read the IMDb kind of plot synopsis.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't get
It's
that.
never announced. There's no sign or whatever. It's just like this compound that he has in the hills, and it looks like I thought it was maybe in martial arts school because
Yeah,
all
that's
the,
what I assumed.
Yeah, he's just got like this.
All the kids are asked to like slowly punch mounds of dirt.
Yeah, so
That's great
like,
training.
It's like the cheapest like training facility. So he's just got buckets of water on the ground, and then a bunch of hay, and then literally a pile of dirt that's maybe like 5 feet high.
Is J.J. Stomp's kind of like martial arts, whatever system that he uses involves a lot of like being wet because he is so wet in this movie.
It's true.
There's one sequence that he's wet for like 5 minutes
Okay.
just sitting on the side of a
Isn't there one
riverbank.
where he just like pours water on himself? Like from
Yeah,
a
there's
jug?
multiple guys
Yeah.
who take buckets and pour water on
Yeah, it's
themselves.
very
The other guy
strange.
does. Yeah. Okay.
I was joking. It was like they're doing the ALS challenge and like dumping like ice water on themselves.
Maybe that was the idea. This did come out in 2017,
Yeah,
which was around that era.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah, and it's like, this guy David, J.J. Stomp's name is David in the movie. He arrives home. All the kids are so happy to see him. They run over, hey. So yeah, I assumed, I'm like, okay, can you just run an orphanage at your house?
Sure.
Is that
Yes.
legal? He's just like, I don't know.
Sure, it's not legal.
Collecting children, very young children. It's very weird.
Well, do we also meet the aunt, Auntie Sage? Do we meet her in this scene?
Yeah.
Who I believe is the wife of the choreographer of this movie, fight choreographer.
Oh.
Maybe she's a master as well.
Yeah, that really old guy that plays the samurai. He's in the samurai outfit.
The like gray haired guy. It's just
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. This is just what I gleaned from the post credits scenes.
Yeah, so it's
and
weird.
I would be remiss to mention or forget to mention that like another stylistic tick of this movie is fades in the same shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For baffling reasons. So like there's a shot of a kid sitting on a rock and then it fades to the kid still sitting on the rock and doing nothing in particular.
That's to show the passage of time.
Well,
Justin.
like they do it during dialogue scenes with little kids, and you're like, okay, well, they couldn't get the kid to say the full line, but then they just do it with the adults too. So it's like, yeah, do 3 takes, and we'll just take the best parts of each take and just have like a crossfade in the video.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I have not seen that many times. And there's also a weird editing technique they use in the fight scenes.
Oh
but
my
we can
God.
get to that when we get to a fight scene, I suppose.
So,
But first, we meet a secret agent that comes and
Yeah.
visits
The director.
J.J. Stomp. Yeah. Oh, is he the director of this movie?
no. His name
director of
is
the
the
agent-
director
the-
of the agency.
Assassin agency.
And we also meet another major character, the White Horse, who shows up a lot in
He
this
does,
film.
yeah. So
very
I don't
cute
know.
horse.
Does JJ have like a
I think
ranch?
it's a
you know,
pony. It looks
Yeah.
like pony size.
it's very cute.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And he's a director because J.J. Stomp is a secret agent.
which yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
What does he do? It's not very clear.
it isn't. But he's training up in the sort of hillside with his like wooden man and like kind of homemade.
I think it's like a Wing Chun dummy.
yeah,
is what
it's like
that's
the
supposed
kind
to be.
of like
And he
a bunch of
drinks
homemade.
a big glass of water shirtless.
So the director arrives, you know, he seems to know Anti-Sage, and he's like, is David around? Yeah, he's up on the hills, like practicing. Oh, would you go get him for me? No problem. And she has to probably walk like 30 minutes to get up to him. And then the director's here. Okay, tell him I'm coming down. Okay. She has to go all the way
Call him
down.
on a cell phone or something. Or maybe she brings out a megaphone. Hey, David, get down here.
Yeah.
That would be more efficient.
Your pile of dirt's on fire.
Well, pile of dirts are important because we learn later on during a fight scene they are his main weakness, but we'll get to
Yeah.
that. We get a montage that he has to go on a mission.
Yeah.
So we get like a plane flying, also a shot of like a sports arena for some reason.
And then it turns to snow. So it's like a snowy
Yes.
environment of like a car.
Oh.
And then we see the bear cubs with their mama bear and like a lynx or something.
It's winter.
So this snow area, they are surrounded by animals based on the footage that we see.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
we see the bears, we see wolves, we see a mountain lion.
Yeah, and it's like, and then this like, I don't know, redheaded, long-haired guy. These two men are meeting in a completely empty, snowy field, exchanging a USB key.
Well, we were saying this location is clearly the marshy location that we saw earlier.
I don't know.
It looks like it is.
Because it would never snow and freeze in San Diego.
That's what I'm saying. There's two locations in this movie, and at one point they fly from one to another several times. So one is like looks like Northern Ontario, and the other one is California.
Oh.
Because when she's like swimming, that's not in California.
I don't know. Maybe.
I know the Canadian Shield when I see it.
No, this would all be in Cal. I guarantee you, he shot everything within like a half mile of his house.
I think at one point though, isn't there's
Are there
there's
snowy
flying
mountains somewhere in California? I
I'm
think
sure.
there are,
Yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
way up there?
Who knows? This is us pretending we know stuff about
I
California.
know nothing about the California.
We got to get to the
terrain.
pulse-pounding action and
All right.
describe the kind of action techniques that J.J. Stomp uses in this movie.
Yeah. So, but it's funny. They have like stock footage of a helicopter and then badly dubbed ADR. It's like, okay, drop me down over here, and he jumps into frame like he just jumped.
Hey,
out
don't
of a
put
helicopter.
too much mustard on those J.J. lines.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
he's a deadpan.
Yeah,
He's like he's very Shinny B in that respect.
yeah.
Put me down here.
Well, compared to Razor Sharp and Fight of Fury, the action in this is a nice way to say
Worse.
would be dynamic.
Well,
It's very poorly shot and edited. The fight scene.
it's
Yes.
worse than those other two movies as
Oh,
far as
much, much worse.
how it's shot.
Yeah.
It gives me very Steven Seagal vibes of
Yeah.
like a lot of like slapping.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's doing something. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so the editing technique is they cut out like large chunks of the action. So you see him like starting to kick someone, and then you kind of see the guy like on the ground.
Oh, yeah, or I'll kind of cut immediately to the impact, like.
But
and it
there
just
is no
happens
impact, so it's
constantly.
like right after the impact. So it's not like cutting out a few frames; it's cutting out like a second, and it's just jarring.
Yeah,
and it
it's
looks
very
bad.
jarring. It's like, no, let's tighten up this scene, but it's
I
like,
don't
he's an
know.
old man.
But it just looks like things are missing. Like,
Yeah. It's like, let's just chop all the fat out and just make this as dynamic as possible.
I love one of the long-haired guys in the sequence, though. There's a shot of him getting knocked to the ground, and he stares at J.J. Stomp for like 15 seconds. being like, "Oh, how dare you!"
This is a very confusing scene. Yeah, he like
Get used to it.
fight, and J.J. Stomp, his hat keeps falling off, and
he keeps like grabbing it, like trying to hold it on the top of his head.
And then in the very next shot, he'll have it on again. And at one point, he runs off to chase one of the guys who escapes, and he like grabs his hat and runs off just holding his hat. Like he really doesn't want to lose it.
He jumps over this little fence, and there's like a whoosh sound effect.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to do like parkour. He's like sliding down like a
Yeah.
culvert or something.
He chases them for ages, fights them multiple times, finally defeats them, and then just shoots them in the face, both of them, killing them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe he was trying to extract something, or I don't know.
Okay, and after this
He's a
scene,
murderer.
okay, we there's more. There's another traveling montage, I believe, of stock footage to show that we're now back in L.A.
Yeah.
or San Diego. We're back at his orphanage, and the kids are all standing around this pile of dirt and just kicking it.
Just kicking it.
Yeah.
Like, we're not being sarcastic. They are just gently kicking this pile of
Kicking
dirt.
a pile of dirt. So if that's a martial arts,
That's a
thing,
drill.
if
They're
that's
doing
something I'm not
drills.
aware of, you know.
I never.
apologize.
April's going to do a video 2 weeks from now, and she has a big pile of dirt, and she's just kicking it. She's like, this is how you get strong.
I never had to do that, but yeah, I mean, you use your
It is
environment.
absolutely a technique, because later on, they're like gently kicking like a brick or something on the ground.
Is it
Yeah.
a technique, or is it just
Yeah.
a pile of dirt that he is
That he
just too
had.
lazy to move?
And he's like, let's put this in the movie because it's production value.
He was
A pile
probably,
of dirt.
he was digging all the posts for his the wooden men that he
Yeah.
practices with, and that was just the pile of dirt that was left
At
over.
the top of the hill that it takes 30 minutes to get to the top of.
Yeah.
And this is a montage, too, of like J.J. Stomp just like being loved by kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, everyone
they're
adores him in this movie.
giving him
course.
high fives. At one point, he like makes a kissy face toward one of the kids.
Yeah, it's very
And she doesn't want to kiss him, and she
Yeah.
kind of like turns her head.
That's
yeah,
icky.
it's a little kind of uncomfortable. But here is where we begin one of the many flashback montages.
Well, we don't know it's a flashback quite yet.
I definitely didn't know that the first time.
Well, it's kind of assumed because the movie starts out with him going to a graveyard.
Oh, is he going to a graveyard? I must have missed that.
Yeah, he has a bouquet of flowers, and then it's like,
Oh.
I think it looks like a shot of a military graveyard for some
Yeah.
reason.
Well, we do see military people walking in the opening credit sequence. so-
Yeah, stock footage. So I kind of assumed, and I right off the bat, I'm like, oh, his wife is dead, I guess, which is, I don't know, seems to happen in all these movies.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Well, they only had a day to shoot with her, so they could only do what they could.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. So yeah, they are frolicking in a field, like literally.
And
with,
they cut back to this like 20 times throughout this
Constantly.
movie.
Oh my God.
And guess what? It's a young girl who
Yeah.
looks not unlike Cake Girl.
I was so confused. I
it
thought
was
it was.
confusing.
Wait,
at
it's
first.
two different people?
Yes.
I thought this was the woman in the leopard print bikini.
No,
no,
it's
this
not.
is his dead wife.
This is his wife.
Different actress.
They look exactly the
They look
same.
very
They
similar.
have the same red hair.
Yeah.
And, oh, my God.
I
Okay.
know. Yeah. So they're
like
frolicking.
Memento.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, cheesy love song with very, obvious lyrics.
Aren't some of the flashbacks also in black and white?
Yeah, sometimes. Half this movie is flashbacks.
Yeah.
Just to him just being adored by this woman. They are like kissing a lot, and it's really, really uncomfortable.
yeah.
And then he takes a selfie, and then it cuts to him looking,
yeah.
looking at the selfie on the phone, but the selfie is actually the frame from the movie. It's not actually
That's
taken from the
again,
perspective
a
of the phone.
classic. I love it when that happens in movies.
And then we get a nightmare scene again. One of the
Well,
few-
we don't know it's a nightmare
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
You don't know
Because
until
We were so
the end,
confused.
yeah.
By this
Suddenly,
point.
J.J. Stomp, the woman who runs the farm, is being held.
Auntie Sage.
Yeah, Auntie Sage. She's like trussed up. Someone's holding a knife to her head. And we finally meet the John Kincaid.
Of the title of the movie, you guys.
And in this sequence is when J.J. Stomp as well runs into this like little mound of dirt. And he's like, oh, I can't get over it.
They're pretending it's like the top of a hill or something.
Is
that
this
he's
the
running up.
part where John Kincaid comes out of the sewer, or
No,
is that
no.
another
No,
scene
that's
later?
later.
He's wearing
Oh
the
my
pink
God.
silk, like
that
martial arts suit or
right,
something.
that ridiculous outfit. So
And he speaks. every single one of his lines is dubbed for some reason, and we never quite see his mouth move.
Yeah.
But he speaks like a Mortal Kombat character. He's like, "Entertain me, Lee.
Come on! Come on!
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Unbelievable! Somebody do something!" I wrote all of these down.
Oh, really?
Also, his thing is he likes to stick his tongue out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
This
that
guy-
equates evil.
This guy is
apparently.
acting like he's on another level of insane.
and not a good level. But
Well, I disagree.
another level.
He's from another planet, this guy.
I love John King. Every time he showed up on screen, it was like, "Bah!" I was like, "Yes, please."
Where's John Kincaid?
I mean, I was like horribly shocked when he does this thing where
He's like sticks
needles through his skin for real. For real, you guys, which is apparently a thing you can do.
Well, it just seemed kind of lame to me because
I
he's
was
like,
shocked.
"Oh," and it's just like a needle going through his skin.
And he's like, "Yeah."
How do you punch needles through your own
So
skin? without
usually
it
the way
bleeding?
that works is that you do it multiple times. So so there's like a pathway exists, and you put the needles in there.
So it doesn't
You're not
bleed.
repuncturing them. It's kind of like an earring or something like that.
Well,
So
I guess I just it queases me out.
Yeah. Well, Auntie Sage is tied up like she's being sacrificed to King Kong. And he's like, "Entertain me, Lee." So J.J. Stomp has to fight
30 guys.
a motley crew of fighters.
And at this point, you're like, what is this movie? Because it's just this huge scene, like a third of the way through.
And they're all kind of standing in a field, so he has to fight them one by one. Each one
I felt
older than
kind
the
of
last.
bad for some of them because like there's one like 80-year-old man. He
Yes.
just like kicks in the stomach. He's like, "Oh!"
And they all have different outfits on, kind of like the end of Razor Sharp, where it's like they all do a different style of martial art.
They have like the Muay Thai guy, and then they
Yeah.
have like this guy with his karate gi.
It
on.
looks like a guy that would like manage a comic book store. He's like, "Come on!" And he's like slapping his, not to paint for too broad a brush, but people know what I'm talking about.
yeah, you know. Yeah, some very old people too. So it's
Guys from his
Johnny
dojo.
Kincaid is like, he's open. He has an open door policy when it comes to goons.
well,
Exactly.
it's a dream sequence, so you can't,
But you don't know this yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Colin blew the lead because
sorry.
I was watching this and I'm like, what is going on? Who are all these people?
I'm so confused.
There's one guy who's like, "Oh," and he keeps throwing like dust into the air.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like almost like a dance.
And then,
Yeah.
and then when they tie they tie J.J. Stomp up, and then the I guess John Kincaid's henchman starts giving him acupuncture on his back.
No.
That was supposed to be torture.
But then John Kincaid goes, "These are death needles. They make you bleed from the inside."
Oh no.
There is one guy, and he appears. He's the older man. I'm sure he's a grandmaster, but I always felt kind of bad when he was on screen because, like, they make him act like he's like baring his teeth and he's squinting all the time.
Yeah, he's like so old and shriveled and wrinkled. And he's like, "Ugh."
He's the one who holds Johnny Kincaid's skin as he puts the needles through.
Yeah. I think he was one of the fight choreographers, and I think he's the one that's married to Auntie Sage in real life.
Yeah,
think.
we think.
And as all this is going down, I'm like, how is J.J. Stomp going to get out of this? Oh, it's a dream.
Yeah, he wakes
he
up.
doesn't. Yeah.
Now, is this supposed to have happened? Or is this just a...
No,
I think it's just a nightmare.
I think John Kincaid is just he kind of represents this force of evil that's sort of haunting him.
Okay, but do they explain?
No,
Not
they
very
do
well.
not explain who John Kincaid is.
Yeah, like they're passed together.
Barely
at all.
Barely. I don't know. So we've had a flashback montage with the wife. Then we have a nightmare sequence, very long one. And then we go right into another flashback montage of him with or not a flashback maybe, of just a montage of him with the new girlfriend.
Yeah,
Cake
so
girl.
you watch her walk through just like a dirty looking lake.
Yeah.
For like 5 minutes as a pop song plays, and it looked like she's watching like fishermen fish. 'Cause
She is.
She'll like look off into the distance and it'll cut the stock footage
Of somebody
like a guy
fishing.
like
Yeah.
taking bath out of the
So
it's very funny.
She says she lives in this area, and then she's just trolling.
Is she like a swamp woman?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
what's
she's like,
going
my
on?
house is just up there. So she's trolling the area where she was saved and wistfully staring out and
She's
saying,
crying.
like, come
She's
back
like,
to me, David. Yeah, she's crying. They got this actress to cry.
Yeah,
Good
and
for
she,
her.
at many points she's like, will he ever come back?
Yeah.
Where are you, David?
Yeah.
So he's, I don't know. And then it goes into, it's her birthday. I think she's wearing a different outfit too. And they're just sitting by the lake eating cake.
Well,
He's
I
wearing,
think she's like, I'm having a party. Come by early.
there's nobody at this
No,
party.
no.
This-
It's before
her
the party
is
started.
a bench and stock footage of fishermen.
Yes.
Coming back
And J.J. Stomp is wearing
It's a bench.
one of his many ill-fitting suits. It's just horrible. And then
he feeds her cake.
He's feeding her cake.
Oh, he feeds her
This
cake.
scene is hilarious.
This back and forth is so funny. And she goes, this better be good cake. Just kidding.
Yeah.
He feeds her the cake and she eats it. And he goes, oh, that's a big bite. Take it easy. And she says,
What do you think? I'm fat?
And she says, you calling me fat?
Just joking.
I love you, David.
And then there's like crossfades of that go to him kissing her. It's like,
it's just
ugh.
so
but
awkward.
like the fact that this was written like this is what he thinks the couples do, I guess. Like again, it's kind
But
of like
isn't that the
an
case of
alien
all
wrote
these
this.
vanity projects?
Yes.
Like, it's all kind of awkward and
we're ordering pizza with ties on our heads, you know, like
Yeah.
that's like the room. But,
banter.
cake and like he's like feeding it to her and it's like messy and like but you don't see the actual cake. You just see it
Yeah.
on
you do. You see a
fork.
little bit of cake going to her
It's
mouth.
like a strawberry,
you
yeah.
you see it on the fork, but you don't see the actual cake. Is all I'm saying.
And then, so we go right from this montage back into a nightmare of him and John Kincaid fighting on a river or in a
Well,
river.
there's a little bit more before that because they talk. There's like this awkward conversation that's all extreme close-ups of them eating at a table.
Oh,
More
God.
stock footage, and then we get this like
the rumble in the river.
Or when he says
They
to
got-
Auntie Sage, "Oh, I met someone."
John
That's-
Kincaid. There's a shot of him covered in mud, just
Yeah.
like Rambo or something. Or
I thought it was
Predator.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, he's like always
All those
emerging
things.
from the water, like Apocalypse Now.
But
or-
he looks kind of like miserable because his hair is long. It's almost down to his neck. And he just like awkwardly comes out of the water. And like his nightmares is John Kincaid kind of floating on his back screaming.
Yeah, it's very strange. So it's like, is this happening? Is this is in his imagination?
It's like they just said, "Hey, be evil. Do
Yeah.
something evil."
They have a fight it's in a nightmare again. They're fighting in the river. This scene goes on forever.
And it
This is
looks
such
like
a
his
long
wife is
scene.
just watching them from the shore.
She's on the shore. She's having like a picnic. So I guess John Kincaid is like invading his nightmares or something, and they
Invading his nice dreams of his dead wife.
Yeah. So
Which
okay.
like we're just guessing. It's really not clear
It is
that
not
that's
clear.
what's happening.
We're in a
very unclear.
dreamscape here. The whole movie is a dream.
And now we go right from this nightmare fight to another flashback of the wife. And
Whoa, Colin.
I mean-
you're skipping probably my
No.
favorite scene of the movie.
no, we're getting
Is
to
it
it
the
right now.
scene?
And I think it's going to be my favorite scene. But,
Okay.
Is
All
this
right, what
is this the
happens?
cupcake?
No, it's right before that. There's a scene of him and the other supporting character of the film, the white horse. Being like, "Brr, brr," and it's just him playing with the horse. And I didn't have the captions on, but it sounded like John Kincaid, J.J. Stomp went, "You want this cigarette?" And the horse is like, "Brr, brr."
You don't
doing
feed
tricks.
a horse a cigarette.
He's doing tricks.
Yep.
Yeah, I get just B-roll they needed to have.
Yeah,
in
we
the
just
movie,
hang
I
out
guess.
with J.J. Stomp is just doing that for like 30 seconds, just playing
Yeah.
with the horse.
If you guys haven't noticed, there's a lot of filler in this movie.
They need to break up the nightmare and flashback.
I guess
scenes.
so. Yeah.
They can't just go one into the other.
So again,
but-
I was so confused. I thought this woman was the same person, so I
Yes.
had no idea what was happening.
yeah, I don't know when stuff is supposed to be happening, who the women are, if
one
it's the
eats
wife
cake,
or the girlfriend.
one eats cupcakes.
This is true. Okay. Now we
Oh,
find out.
that was the separating thing.
Right.
Yes.
Well, we find
For
out
me,
now.
yeah.
Okay. I had to say this is my favorite scene in the movie. It goes on forever. So he's having a flashback when him and his wife were having a picnic by the river. They're frolicking. She's like stroking his hair, saying, "I love you." And then he's like, "Oh, wait, hold on a second. I have to go get you something." And he disappears. He comes back
with
with
cupcakes.
a bunch of flowers and cupcakes. And he says, what's her name? Ashley?
I think so.
And it's like,
Yeah,
Ashley.
Ashley. He's like, Ashley.
He goes, where are you? I brought your favorite cupcakes.
Yeah, which are like in a Tupperware.
She's gone.
And then he does what any rational person would do, just throw himself full into this river.
Yeah, she isn't there. And like 5 seconds later, he's like, Ashley! And then
So if this is a flashback, was she abducted?
something happened.
Because
John,
there's a shot of John Kincaid kind of like dragging her down a hallway, which is very confusing.
I think that was another woman.
Oh, that was another woman.
That was his partner. Like
Oh
his.
my gosh.
I
She's
know.
another
I know.
woman?
It all gets explained.
How many women?
But so if we're to believe the structure of this scene,
Yes.
he goes, gets cupcakes, comes back, his wife is missing, he splashes around in the water
He
for
runs
a
like
couple
a
minutes.
madman
Yeah.
through
Yes.
the water, and at one point they just have an unrelated shot of him coming out of the water like
Yes,
Apocalypse
like
Now.
he ducked, and this water is not deep either.
Like,
No.
it's like, are
And
you
he's
looking
short.
for her under the water?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I think so.
And from there, he sits down, and according to the logic of the movie, he then chokes down all of the cupcakes that he brought.
And has this
Yeah.
blue icing, and for the entire scene, this blue icing is smeared over his lips.
Yeah.
And he's like, it looks like he's crying. He's sadly eating this cupcake. And we get many like crossfades, I
But
think.
yeah, it seems like he's sitting there for like 2 days because
Yeah.
night comes,
Night
and then
comes,
day
day-
arrives,
well,
but
day
he
for-
is still
day for night comes.
soaking.
Yeah.
He is still like
Yeah.
water is dripping from him.
So I
Day
would
for night
think
comes, and he's
seems like a
sitting.
nightmare.
He's sitting in the middle of the river, like shivering. And at this point, I stopped the movie. I paused it to do something. There's an hour left in this movie. They've already.
It's not all movie
They've
though.
already run out of plot. There's like, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing
Well,
else.
this is just a
happening.
flashback because then we cut to he's at the side of the river, he's wearing his suit, and then he eats it. No, he puts down a cupcake in her honor.
Yeah.
Do you want, I wish they would just like tilt down and we just see a pile of old rotting cupcakes.
Oh, the animals would have ate them.
Or he just like stuffs it in his mouth, like slathering it over his lips like he
Yeah.
did when she left.
Yeah, the flower budget on this movie must have been insane too. He's always
Lots
got
of flowers.
bunches of flowers.
I think they were fake.
I would love to talk with the editor of this movie, who I hope is J.J. Stomp himself.
Oh,
and
God,
like, why
yeah.
do we go from that to like a shot of a truck driving, an owl that stares right into the camera,
Yeah.
and then a fade to black? What is going on?
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I have heard that the owl is like a moniker of death. It's like a signal. It says it's if you see a vision of an owl, it's a bad sign, I guess. So
Do you
maybe
think-
that.
Do you think that they gave it that much thought?
Probably
Maybe
not.
because like the next sequence is J.J. Stomp being like kind of like massaged psychically, and I assume that like these Grand Masters, maybe they have some indigenous roots because that's the iconography that they're going with as well.
I think it's hinted that maybe Auntie Sage is like
A shaman.
like a native shaman or something like that. Because wasn't she like burning incense
Yeah.
around him?
Well, her name is Sage.
And there's shots in this that seem to imply that John Kincaid is in jail. Like you see him looking through bars, being like,
No, he's
"Arr."
emerging from a sewer culvert. It's like a kind of
yeah,
it's
but
where
I
the
think
sewer.
that's supposed to represent.
Yeah, it's where the sewer like pours into the lake, and he lifts the grate that's over it.
Okay,
Yeah, because
so
later on, John Kincaid comes out of the water, so
Yeah,
he's
so
escaped
I-
from somewhere.
It's like, is it literal? Like,
who
is
knows?
this-
Okay, so when do we get to the
April, we
adopted
need
daughter?
to figure this out.
Wait, we need to talk about the breakdancer.
Yeah, the breakdance.
Breakdance.
The guy
You
who's
don't remember
popping and
this?
locking in the middle of the forest.
I'm trying to remember.
It's right now.
Okay.
It's like
It's
this
it's just a white guy popping and locking. He's got a ginger beard.
in the middle of a forest, and he
Yeah.
has like meth mouth. It looks like, and he's popping and locking, just dancing, doing some things.
kind of remember that.
John Kincaid sneaks up behind him, and then he
He starts
like,
dancing,
He starts dancing.
Oh, I don't remember that. Maybe I went to the bathroom.
and then he snaps the pop and locker's neck, and then John Kincaid goes, "Oh!" and, like falls on his back, and he puts his tongue out. He's like, "Ah."
So is this really happening?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
He rubs like dirt in his face first, and then kills the breakdancer. And then the next shot you see, he's just floating on his back down the river. You're like, what is
A lazy river
What is
situation.
happening in this movie? Oh God. Okay, so here's where he meets up with the director, and then this is where J.J. Stomp kind of explains the history of like what happened, and I guess he was in the service or he was working on some case.
Okay.
Which is literally like a file folder, and it says like case number, blah blah blah, and then his partner opened the file folder. And then John Kincaid killed her. And that's who was getting dragged down the hallway.
Do we even see that woman's face?
You do.
Okay.
Briefly, yeah.
But the thing is, she kind of looks similar to the wife. So I have no idea.
J.J. Stomp, you're killing us.
Yeah. So
And in this speech that the director gave JJ, he has a great line where he's like, Lee, Johnny Kincaid is unleashed. He's playing with you. And then there's a big dramatic pause. Be careful who you chase to love or choose to love.
yeah.
He says the title, which
He says,
is great.
everyone in your life is gone.
Which is
And
not
there's a
true.
flashback of JJ Stomp in his younger years, and he's just wearing like cool guy sunglasses and like a white shirt.
And kind of like a shorter wig or something.
And he's like leaning back in his chair like he's sleeping. It's very unclear.
Yeah, and you can't hear anything, but with the closed captioning, you can hear his partner going like, David, did you get sleep last night? So it's like, what?
Were they banging? Who
Do you
knows?
think it's because he's lying back because it's supposed to be like a flashback to him very young, and he can't?
So like
pull
they
it
don't
off?
want to show his face.
So they
That was
kind of
like
just
a
have
strategy.
this. Yeah, they have kind of like a short wig, and he's leaning back wearing sunglasses.
Sure. I mean, maybe.
It's a
That
theory.
is some like thought that you would think maybe it's too much, but those are also the things that like filmmakers like this like get really obsessed with.
Yeah.
You get hung up on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to lean back, wear sunglasses and a wig, so you can't really tell that I'm not young. Lee,
We can tell.
John Kincaid is unleashed.
He's playing with you. And there's shots where it looks like poor JJ Stomp is like a hobbit, where it's like over the shoulder of the director and he looks like 2 feet tall.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, I was like, wait, is there like a step here? Like a ledge?
Now he's just that short.
Apparently, yes. Okay, so
And at one point, they have a shot of J.J. Stomp finding the dead breakdancer and kind of knowing that it's John Kincaid.
Yeah, he's
Well,
like,
he knows
John
he's
Kincaid.
This
he's
is his
he's
handiwork.
unleashed. Do they ever just call him Kincaid or John? Or is
Maybe.
it always John Kincaid?
I think they do, because there's a sequence where right after he eats the cupcakes very sadly, he's like screaming to the air. I don't know if it's a flashback or if it's just normal. And he's like, what are you doing? Where are you, Dawn? You are nothing. I'm still here. Where are you? I'm waiting for you, Kincaid.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it
he's
sounds
got
like
a
he's
lot of
screaming
feelings.
Dawn, even though it's supposed to be John.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe he just misspoke.
Oh.
And it's in the movie.
So yeah,
One take.
Yeah.
Well, he returns to his commune or whatever the hell it is, the orphanage,
Communes of children.
and Kincaid is waiting for him, and he's like,
Okay, but
you know.
we missed a scene where it was established that little girl is his daughter.
That happens in the climax of the movie.
But wasn't there
Yeah.
scenes earlier with the daughter, and they were talking about her? And
The
Yeah, but he
little-
didn't know it was his daughter. I think he just assumed it was an orphan that lived at the
little
orphanage
mute girl.
farm.
to
Yeah.
me,
The orphanage farm
the little
where they-
mean girl. To me, it seemed obvious though. Whatever.
I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
because we didn't know at the beginning who these children were.
Yeah,
We didn't know they
and
were
then,
orphans.
Yeah, later George Kennedy is like, when Ashley came to us, she was pregnant, so she somehow gave birth and then died without JJ knowing.
She wore a girdle, and he just never noticed.
so
we take a
weird.
little bit of a pause so John Kincaid can have some leisure time, where he goes to the beach, sits on a rock, and
Yeah, what
watches
the hell is that?
women in slow motion.
Yeah, by the way, all stock footage women, and it's insanely obvious, and they're like looking at the camera, and like, so
Yeah.
it's like, is this like just him fantasizing? Who knows?
Who knows? And he's walking along the beach, and we thought he was going to kill one of the women, but nope.
Yeah.
Scene just ends.
He's just checking out the talent, I guess.
I guess. Yeah, he shows up at J.J. Stomp's house, and they get into a brief gunfight.
Yes. Where JJ Stomp's move is like running back and forth on the other side of the car.
Yeah. I think he climbs under the car at one point and then hides in the back of the pick-em-up truck and then attacks him. I don't know. It's very weird. And then he's like, entertain me, Lee.
And that's when the older guy shows up in the samurai outfit, which must have been very warm, I feel.
Oh my God. He has to fight.
They look really, hot.
Yeah, he has to fight a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's the same guys from his dream earlier on, in that
so it's
long
basically
montage.
just a repeat of stuff we've already seen.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the
not
same
really. They try to shake it up.
I guess.
The
At one
samurai seemingly stabs himself in the stomach at one point, and I was like, huh?
Okay. Also, so John Kincaid is like sitting at like a folding table watching this all go down.
Yeah.
With little girl and hot lady. Who is this lady?
Okay, so the movie, remember at the beginning, George Kennedy goes, "Oh, there's a woman coming. She doesn't speak English very well."
Yeah, we're getting a
And then
new
you
one.
see her arriving, and that's pretty much it. I think that's the woman.
Yeah.
But who is she? Is she like a babysitter?
I think she's an orphan.
She's an
Yeah.
but she's like
But
20.
she's 20,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Okay.
It's very
So
confusing.
this scene, she's wearing like a lacy kind of outfit, and then like Kincaid's like kind of grabbing on her, but like she's just there as another hostage. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kincaid has tied
Okay.
her and the little girl up.
Yeah. And she's kind of holding on to the little girl to like protect her.
Yeah, he's like making J.J. Stomp fight for his amusement or something before he
I'm
kills
20 years
him.
old. I'm going to the orphanage.
Yeah, exactly. It's very weird. So Kincaid, they're just fighting in his little arena, which is just like that where the
dirt
pile of dirt
mounds.
is.
Yeah.
Well, he's running around. You see him like go up a hill. You see him
Yeah.
get thrown into a dirt thing.
I think at one point the bad guy's like smashing his face into like a bale of hay, and I'm like, I don't think that hurts very much.
I don't know. It's scratchy.
Hey, if it's tightly packed, man, yeah, scratchy, scratchy.
And then at one point, a new fighter like kind of jumps out from
Appears.
behind the pile of dirt, and it looks like Jesse from Breaking Bad.
yeah.
like, Kung Fu bitches.
Oh, it does look like him.
It's funny because I just found out that the Mandalorian new Mando episode that we watched right after this movie has Skinny Pete in it. What are the odds?
Oh, that was the Christian Bale looking guy.
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah.
yeah. Isn't that funny?
That's hilarious.
Well,
But
my favorite guy in this fight
And
is the guy
Giancarlo
that
Esposito.
that's right. Sorry.
in this movie. Wow.
No.
He's in Mando. Yeah. Sorry. What were you going to say your favorite fighter was?
It's the guy that he's like breaking bricks on his head. He's the one who dumps the bucket of water. It looks like he's smoking a big cigar at one point.
Yeah,
as
and I'm
he
like-
smashes his head in the hay.
Yeah, he throws the cigar on the ground. I'm like, no, you're gonna fucking burn the whole place down.
I think he would
Don't
use
let-
it as a weapon or something.
It's a matchstick flame.
Maybe
Watch
that's
out.
why it probably would explain the buckets of water that are lying around this arena.
They
Maybe.
keep having to put it out.
Maybe.
Put out like brush fires.
Well,
Yeah.
it seems to like him dropping the buckets of water. Smoke is coming out of his mouth. Like, is he so
Yeah.
strong that like he's creating smoke and has to like cool himself down?
Do you think he's like,
Maybe.
yeah, he's like boiling internally and he has to like cool himself down?
You can only use this move once because it could damage your body.
Anyway, this fight, it feels like it lasts forever. Well, because it's not just one fight, it's like 10 fights.
Well, it's so long that George Kennedy just kind of like casually drives up to the farm as
Yeah.
it's going on.
Yeah, and I think he gets
Yeah.
stabbed by
Yeah, with a
Kincaid.
samurai sword.
He gets stabbed. And then what happens? I think eventually the henchman samurai, it's like a full samurai outfit with a mask and everything, with a big mustache on the mask. He's going to kill J.J. Stomp, and then Auntie Sage just shoots him with some gun that was set up earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, she crawls like 100 feet with a gun and she just shoots him. And then he just very casually kills John Kincaid. Like,
he
there's a
kind of-
lot of buildup.
Yeah, Kincaid is about to stab him, and then he does a reversey and stabs him with the
It's
samurai
like,
sword.
what were you afraid of?
Yeah, it's very weird. And then Kincaid is still alive, and then as they're walking away, he tells the young mute girl, like, close your eyes, and then he just shoots Kincaid twice, and then goes, that's for my wife.
Real squib hits.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
That's for my
They're
wife.
so anticlimactic.
It's very weird. And
then it cuts to what looks like heaven as we go through buildings and golden light is shining down.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
right.
Are they dead?
I don't know. And then shots of the new girlfriend sitting or like pacing by the
Yeah,
side
but
of the
she
lake.
said like, on your birthday, July 28th, I'll be here. And well, he goes and meets up with her.
She's bawling. She's bawling, crying, like,
very happy
I'm
to
never
see
going to
him."
see him again.
Yeah. Well,
Women love J.J. Stomp.
yeah, I mean, that's been proven, right?
And then I think he does show up.
Yeah.
I don't
he
know.
eats a cupcake.
He said-
That's his thing, cupcakes. And then pretty much the movie's over. Something
Bloopers. No, it's not.
Before we move on to that, I just wanted to say this movie has absolutely terrible color corrections. No Fight of Fury. It looks like they put a lot on the whole movie.
And be like, whatever you say, April.
The blacks are so crunchy and the whites are so blown out. It hurt my eyes to look at. And
there's like a brown LUT over all of it, and it's like, huh?
It's also like a bluish looking thing. I don't know. It's ugly, and also obviously some of the worst day for nights I've ever seen.
How dare you?
Yeah, this is art. It's a stylistic choice.
Then we get into like 20 minutes of bloopers that aren't even really bloopers.
It's just them hanging out on set.
Yeah.
The first one is really funny because it's like the cameraman is following J.J. Stomp as he's running, and he kind of tries to jump over this like 1.5 foot brick wall and sort of minorly, like just sort of stumbles a bit. And then the cameraman's like, oh no, we're done.
They make it look like it's like a Jackie Chan.
Yeah, and it's like they play it back in slow-mo, and he just sort of kind of stumbles. And the cameraman's like, oh no, the movie's done. He's injured. And then he just keeps running.
Like, I'm fine, yeah.
He's fine.
Well, it's those little injuries that are usually the ones that are the most dangerous.
Yeah.
But like this movie is an hour and 41 minutes long.
Far too long.
They really did not need to make it longer.
It's so weird that the credits go so long. This is something that you do in like middle school.
Yeah.
That you're like, we had so much fun. Look at all these bloops at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and they're not even good bloopers or anything.
It's like
just
inside jokes.
Some are just like scenes, and then just like endless scenes of just kids like dancing.
just John. I want to call him John Kincaid every time.
Yeah.
J.J. Stomp just sitting there drinking like
Scotch.
in a lawn chair.
Oh, and he's wasted too.
It's clearly real booze.
Yeah,
and he looks like he's falling asleep.
Anti-Sage actor is like, "Is this your first one?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, all right.
And
I guess he's not a drinker, but this goes on forever.
Yeah.
And, it's just like,
and I usually like bloopers, but they have to at least be kind of funny. And
but this seems like something you would do if like your movie comes in at 60 minutes.
Exactly.
Yes. But it's an hour and 40 minutes.
It just adds like another 10 minutes to a movie that already feels so padded with flashbacks and nightmares.
It goes with
Stock
the vanity.
footage.
JJ's just like,
People want JJ.
Yeah.
Give them more JJ.
Stomp, stomp, stomp,
stomp. That's what they should be cheering.
He's a grandmaster in karate, I assume, if we look at all of his awards.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't tell.
No, All-Pro Taekwondo Hall of Fame, Master of Martial Arts of Fame, Legends of the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Wait a minute. So Legends of the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. That sounds like it's
made up.
A category that gives awards to Martial Arts Hall of Fame.
They could be. Could be. We don't know. Anyway, that's the movie.
Yeah.
And where can you find it?
April, did you say your favorite thing?
I did. I was Cake Girl. way back when she first appeared. Where could you find this movie? Well, where all quality movies are found.
Tubi.
It's a Tubi.
Hey. By the time this episode comes out, if you want to see the film that me and April worked on, Search Impossible Horror, maybe it'll be up by now.
On Tubi?
Yep.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Because
it's been delivered and accepted, but it hasn't popped up. Any day now.
I would love for it to just be like full of ad breaks of like Tucker Carlson.
No. But yeah, check out Tubi for Impossible Horror and John Kincaid Unleashed.
Listen, I'm not going to say that there's very easy ways that you can actually download the films on Tubi as MP4s because I don't want to take away from their ad revenue. But perhaps there is a way. But I won't say.
Maybe someone will have to message you to find out that way.
Don't message me. I will not tell you because I do not know.
I don't know
it's
either.
really funny that like if you can download a YouTube clip off of online, it's the same way to download off Tubi. They have no copy protection at all on their movies.
Whoa. I kind of love Tubi for that because not only is it like
care.
It's just first of all it's free. There's not actually that many ads and there's just so much stuff on there and it's generally there's good movies on there too, but it's kind of like the trash that nobody cared about, but people like us actually do care and want to see these
people
movies.
love Tubi.
I think
Tubi's the best.
I think there was one ad that when we were watching this
one
movie
ad
last
break
night.
and I
there's
think
not
it was
even
like
that many
commercial.
ads. Yeah, I think there's only 2 ads usually when you watch something on Tubi.
We got one and it was to a point where I was like, oh yeah, shit, this is Tubi.
Yeah, and
There's
then for
supposed to
an
be
hour
ads.
and 41 movie, that's pretty great. I fear the the day that Tubi is going to be bought by like Netflix or something. And
Well, they're owned by Fox, so they ain't going nowhere
Okay.
anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, and like the bad Fox as well.
Oh, right. The Fox News. Yeah. Commercials. Anyway, check this movie out. It wasn't the greatest. It was baffling, but I think it was worth seeing.
Yeah, it kind of like has that Neil Breen Double Down fever dream feel.
It's definitely fun to watch with people because you just kind of revel in your confusion, and there's entertaining fight scenes that, they might be shot poorly, but it's still fun. It was still fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it's like if you're having a vanity action film marathon, you could watch Razor Sharp, Fight of Fury, and this movie and not feel like you're like, it's the same movie again, because they all got their different interesting
I
elements.
would probably put this one in the middle.
Yes.
Don't end on
I
it.
would.
And,
Yeah, I
it's-
would start with Razor Sharp.
Yeah.
Because you're getting people in. It's fun. It also has more conventional movie feel. Then
Yeah.
you have this one in the middle. It's kind of more shapeless. Maybe you're chit-chatting a little bit more. Then you got Fight of Fury, and that's like, this is a Citizen
Yeah,
Kane
you
of these
end
types
on
of
a high.
films.
Well, Justin, you should do a movie marathon,
A vanity
martial arts movie.
Yeah.
I will say, I just did a video essay for someone that is not Gold Ninja Video about vanity action films because of the film I was talking about. So,
And he does wear a
I
black
will-
tank top in this movie.
That's right. They all wear black tank tops, these guys.
it's a black tank top vanity action marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Dude, you should do that. Like, you could still do the summer movie marathon, but maybe like a shorter one of like a 12-hour maybe.
A vanity
I'm
action
telling
film.
you, everyone
great.
would tune in.
Oh, that'd be
like,
great.
Damn.
I wish we could play one of the greats that, due to legal reasons, we cannot mention.
Well, we can, but they wouldn't be happy
Join our
about it.
Patreon. That's what I'll say.
Check it out on Patreon.
The
And
Gratch Blake game.
Don't burn yourself.
Yeah, don't burn yourself. That was such a miserable experience that, like, I haven't even booted up part 2, and I know it'll be
Oh
good
yeah, part
too.
2's
Yeah.
out.
It's on Tubi.
Oh, is it really?
I got to check it
Yeah.
out. But yeah, I'm a little
Can't
tainted.
bring
but
myself around
the
to watch
original is so good. I'm definitely watching that again at some point.
Oh!
This movie I'm legally not allowed to talk about. Okay, so if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at no such thing pod. We're also on YouTube if you want to check out our episodes on there, and consider joining our Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you're on the $5 level, you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks and access to over 100 episodes. The most recent one, we're talking about the Mario movie. We're being real topical. And also,
We're usually topical on Patreon.
Yeah,
If people don't know what our Patreon are,
other than last
we just
week.
take like new movies
Yeah, other
and
than Kung Pao.
discuss them.
By the way,
Oh yeah, that's right, Kung Pao.
I made an effort to say it correctly, Mario, but I often say Mario,
Mario?
and apparently that's wrong, according to my
Really?
4-year-old
Mario.
niece.
Wait, which one is wrong?
I said Mario's wrong. I said
it's
Mario,
Mario.
and
Wait,
she kept saying
your
yeah.
your 4-year-old niece corrected you
Yes.
with the pronunciation.
Also, she's it's Mario. You're saying it wrong.
She said, "That's not how you say it."
Mamma mia.
And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can find me every week on the Important Cinema Club, on the Very Fine Comic Book Podcast as well, if you want to hear people talk about comic books every week. And you can find me on Twitter at Decloux, DECLOUX, and the letter J.
You can follow me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it for this week. And I'm sure there'll be lots more martial arts vanity movies out there.
Oh
We can't
God.
cover them all, but we're going to try.
No, I got to space them out too.
It's true.
That can't be the only thing that I pick.
No.
The problem is Fight of Fury is too good.
Well, yeah.
Like-
I mean, it might be the best. I mean, I don't know. Miami Connection's probably the best, but Fight of Fury is just so
I like
good.
the just dementedness of Fight of Fury.
Yeah.
Like,
Miami Connection doesn't have the lead making out with a young girl.
That-
And
that feels-
To be fair, Fight of Fury doesn't have that either, but he is.
I always think of that scene where there's like a fly just floating on his face
Yes.
the entire time.
Yes.
Miami Connection feels way too polished and like, you know,
Well, they shot on
it
film.
feels like a proper movie, whereas like, you know, Fight of Fury, I like the kind of
When are we getting Fight of Fury 2 Annihilation? That is actually its title.
I hear it's coming out soon. So that's it for this
Yeah, it
week.
says shouldn't
I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin DeClue.
Colin Cunningham.
And
Unleashed.
remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
Entertain me, Lee.